A tech founder sold his company for $40 million. 6 months later, he bought an 87-foot yacht for $7.2 million. 12 months after that, he listed it for sale at a $2 million loss. The boat had never left the marina for more than 11 days total. This is not an unusual story. It is the quiet pattern that runs through yacht ownership once the champagne is gone and the bills start arriving. What actually happens when the first major repair hits? That question sits at the center of almost every ownership story, yet almost no one asks it before they sign the papers. The day the boat becomes yours, the purchase price is only the beginning. Surveyors, sea trials, registration, and the first insurance policy add another 3 to 5% before you ever sleep on board. In our founder's case, the extras came to just over $300,000. He had budgeted for none of it. That was day one. Year one is where the real education begins. Industry veterans repeat the same estimate. Plan on 10% of the yacht's value every year just to keep it operational. For a $7 million boat, that means roughly $700,000. The number is a widely cited rule of thumb, not an audited average, but it has held up across enough ownership cycles to be taken seriously. Crew alone accounts for the largest share. A captain, engineer, and 2 deckhands for a vessel this size cost between $300,000 and $450,000 a year once salaries, food, insurance, and rotations are included. Dockage in a decent Florida or Mediterranean marina runs another $150,000 to $250,000. Fuel, even with light use, adds tens of thousands more. By the end of month 8, our founder had already spent more on the boat than he had spent on his primary home in the previous 5 years combined. The first major repair arrived in month 11. A generator failed during a short coastal trip. The part was not in stock. The boat sat for 3 weeks while a specialist flew in. The final invoice, including haul-out, labor, and lost charter potential the owner had hoped to use as offset, crossed $90,000. That single event turned the abstract 10% rule into something personal and permanent. Hidden costs do not announce themselves as line items. They appear as decisions. Electronics that worked fine in the showroom begin failing after a season of salt air. Soft goods fade and need replacement. Bottom paint has to be redone every 12 to 18 months. Insurance premiums rise after any claim. Each of these is manageable in isolation. Together they form a second, quieter budget that most first-time owners never model. Would you still buy the boat if you knew the first year would cost nearly as much as the down payment on a second house? Most people answer yes in the abstract. The answer changes once the statements start arriving. The emotional side of ownership arrives earlier than the financial spreadsheets suggest. The fantasy is freedom. Waking up in a new anchorage, no schedules, no neighbors. The reality is logistics, crew schedules, weather windows, maintenance cycles, and the simple fact that high-net-worth lives are already full. Our founder used the boat 11 days in the first year. Each of those days required advanced coordination. The rest of the time the yacht sat, systems still needing to be run, bilges still needing to be checked, salaries still needing to be paid. The psychological shift is subtle but consistent. What began as a symbol of success becomes a recurring reminder of time and money that cannot be recovered. Risks compound the same way. A storm does not care about the owner's schedule. A liability claim from a guest can exceed the value of the vessel. The secondary market is thin and emotional. When many owners decide to sell at the same time, prices drop faster than the depreciation tables predict. Currency moves and interest rate changes affect anyone who financed part of the purchase. None of these risks are theoretical. They appear in the same ownership stories with uncomfortable regularity. Charter income is the most common hope for softening the numbers. A well-managed boat in the right location can generate $200,000 to $400,000 in a strong season. After commissions, extra crew, fuel, and wear, the net contribution is usually far smaller. In many cases, it simply reduces the annual loss rather than eliminating it. Owners who treat the yacht as a pure private luxury accept the cost. Owners who treat it as an investment are usually the ones who list it within 3 years. The pattern that repeats is straightforward. Buyers underestimate the operating load, overestimate how often they will use the boat, and discover too late that the experience they paid for is available far more cheaply by chartering the same class of yacht for the exact weeks they actually wanted. The shipyards, marinas, crew agencies, and yards continue to do well either way. The private owner is the variable that most often loses. The economics do not forbid yacht ownership. They simply refuse to subsidize the fantasy version of it. For the few who use the boat heavily and accept the annual cost as the price of a particular kind of life, the numbers can be justified. For everyone else, the clearer decision appears only after the first full year of statements. By then, the lesson has already been paid for.